There we go.
Hey guys, welcome to the Deviant Witchery Show. We kind of doing an improv show because we just decided kind of at the last minute to do a show because that's just what we do sometimes. So this is gonna be kind of whatever the fuck we feel like talking about show. We don't really have a theme to this week. So we're going to start something a little bit new this week. We are going to kind of do just like a little bit of a check-in just to let everybody know like what we've been up to while we're not here doing this show, talking to each other, or on the group, that thing, when we're not posting in the group. So one of the things, I don't know what's been going on this week, but all of a sudden, this past week or two, I've been having this amazing influx of readings. Like, I've had an Etsy shop for a while, and I've had a couple of readings that are listed, and all of a sudden I have people contacting me through there and buying readings, which has been awesome because it's been leading to spell work, me doing spell work for people. So I think that is really cool. And then, what was it, yesterday, out of nowhere, one of my coworkers, who I've actually read for a couple of times, she's like, I need another reading. And I'm like, okay. So, yeah, it's been great. That's been kind of my fun money lately since I've been trying to cut down on my spending. So what's been up with you guys?
Nimbus.
Well, Michael voted me going next on this thing, so I don't have a choice. He's mean. No, I'm kidding.
No, it's
I am unemployed.
Yay!
Yay! I don't know how much I've ever talked about my job here, like on a show or anything like that. I know Blythe and Michael we're tired of hearing it by the end. But I worked for a very interesting entity. I was in the funeral business, and the people that I worked for, though I think my experience there was a very, it was learning, and it was great in that way because I learned that I don't want to work with the dead. In that aspect, in the physical body part of the dead, and the mourning of the family. And I did not want to work for who I worked for because we had conflict of everything because he was just a big jerk most of the time, and working for him was terrible. And I could be rude, but I'm not going to be rude. I'm just going to say that I resigned last week? Or the week before last, and I've had an incredibly awesome experience with it because I have not in 4 years had this much time off consecutively, or had been able to breathe this much, or be able to be creative, or not worry that I'm going to offend somebody due to my religious views or my craft. And it's been great. It's been very freeing, and I don't regret the experience, but I'm glad it's over. And yeah, there that is. And the moral from this story is don't fucking be miserable for 2.5 years without doing something about it, because you're just wasting everybody's fucking time, including your own. That was kind of positive.
That was extremely positive. You went from a negative situation, a situation in which you were not feeling it, it was torture to be there, to a positive situation. Just because you're unemployed does not mean it's a negative thing. It means that you have time to catch up, time to reevaluate your stuff, and create something great. I think a lot of people, they get all weird with unemployment because they think that they're like losers. I've had people, friends and stuff, family, who have been through that, and they feel gross. They feel like people are judging them, that they feel like loserish, and really it's not. Like, if you decide that you're going to live off of that and you don't do anything with it, that's different. But taking some time off and experiencing that and relaxing, I would love to do that. And maybe that will happen in the future. But it's a positive. I think it's a positive thing.
And I realized I've not been unemployed, with the exception of 8 months, my freshman year of college, since I was 15 and a half. So this is a very weird experience. Like, I've constantly had a job for years because I was raised in a household where you got to work. You have no choice. Like, you want things, you have to work to get those things, and that's positive in itself. But at the same time, it's also been nice to have the support system of not just you guys, but my wife and my family, because they're like, my family is so excited that I'm not working for them anymore because they've been able to see me more in the last 2 weeks than they have in 4 years. So that's a big difference for me. So and I'm starting to, like, I was like detoxing myself because I had to get up like random parts of the night, and I never fucking slept. And kind of like Blythe, but Blythe can do it and be a positive person, and I am like a monster. So, like, so yeah, it's been good. It's been interesting, and now I'm just like reassessing life, and I have like a job opportunity coming my way, but it hasn't started yet, and now this lets me get kind of more in tune with who the fuck I am now. So I get to figure that out. So that's awesome.
It is awesome.
I'm starting to sound like a spiritualist, so we've got to stop this shit. Like,
wait, we gotta get the rose quartz. We gotta get the good shit out, you know? Kumbaya.
Here you go.
Michael, what's been going on with you? Except for that weird shit you won't tell us about right now.
Well, I gotta change this. Okay. I've been doing a lot of things. Everyone knows I'm like always up to something. I'm always busy. So right now I just started training some, not necessarily newbie witches. Some of them are new, some of them are not, some of them are well-rounded, but they are going through my training. And I just did a training today, like a video today, and I was like, fuck, I'm like hating on myself for all the shit I'm gonna put them through. I expect a lot, and I have no patience for people who aren't going to invest the time. I'm very upfront. I'm like, you know what? It's going to be intense. It's a whole year. It's a year training with me. It's very intense, and it's going to be very uncomfortable, but it's going to be awesome at the same time because it took me an hour to do the freaking video. I sat at my laptop with it on and all prepared. It took me an hour to work up the nerve to just do it. And I'm like, I've been doing like these shows and stuff. I've been doing it for what, like a year? I don't know. And I still have anxiety about it. And I express that. I'm like, this is taking myself out of my comfort zone. And I'm still doing it. So I expect that from my students. So I've been putting a lot of material into that. And I've been doing a lot of readings. I've been doing spell work for people. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I've been doing something else as well.
About the stuff you've been making.
Oh yes, I have been making some
You won't
interesting...
even tell me what it is.
What? What do you mean?
Oh,
Oh, my ointment?
yeah.
Yeah, that's a secret. I want some. I don't know why.
Well, the garnets kind of gave it a little bit of a way, considering I know what you're very good at, but the garnets make it like...
Those garnets are delicious. That ointment scares me because it's very potent, and I have been charging it. I think this is last week I'm going to charge it, but I've charged it with fire agate, which is very sexy, garnet, and then I have my poppet that represents the Witch Father on top of them now, and he's in a little like a treasure box full of crystal penises. And they're like little tiny things, but yeah, that one is pretty awesome.
Oh, the little ones?
Yeah, and they're all quartz, so he's sitting in that, and that's all charging. And I also have like a snake shed worked in that. So yes, that is a very sexual. It's not just to promote like sexual connection. It's really to help also sexual healing. You can put that on your root and sacral chakras and kind of meditate and work through some of the issues, because a lot of the clients that, and I'm not getting personal into their information, but a lot of the clients that I work with, we work through a lot of root and sacral chakra issues. And so I made that to help them feel secure enough to deal with that, but also to show them that sacred sex is fine. Like it's not, sex is not a bad thing. And this helps promote that, and it really gets like, you feel the primal raw force, and you feel okay about it. So that's that lovely little thing. So yeah, I've been doing training, I've been creating products, I've been outlining some future projects, and we are working on the book. We have obviously, if you have paid attention, we have the rights to our book. It is ours. We have control over it. We have full say on what happens to it. So it will be professionally edited and formatted. And now that we know more about the process, we are also, because I had to, we're adding more pages. And anyone who already bought the book, anyone who already purchased it, we will make sure that you get that extra. So we will put it in a PDF file or something to make sure that you get that. So don't freak out. So we get to fix a lot of things. So we're doing that. But you're going to really like the additional sections to each part. It's going to be fun. Yes, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's going to be fun. So we've been doing that. Another thing I want to say is we've had the Pop-It contest, and we reached part of it. Like, we were supposed to get 500 subscribers, and we did, so thank you. We appreciate all of you. That was part of it. The next part is we need everyone to be active. So we need more people to comment. We need more people to express themselves. And I'd actually like to see more people starting their own videos. And I'm really trying to get my students to do this too, not just for this, but for the work that we do. Because I feel like there's power in the video. I feel like it brings you out, and you can express more, and people connect more when they do a video. So if you would, I would like for you to do your own videos in response to anything that we talk about. You can even engage us. Like, if you have questions for us, do a video and tag us in it so we know. And we'll watch it. I'll watch it. I don't care. Just don't make it boring. Like, have some fun. If it's boring, I might not watch it. And I'm just being honest. There's some really boring videos, and I can't do it. Like, really boring. Okay? Yeah. So, so do that. So interact with us. We need more interaction. I love hearing what you have. Even if you disagree, don't be a cunt about it. But if you disagree, it's okay. Like, I like seeing why people disagree. I like hearing why you may not agree. I like getting to know more about people's thought processes and their beliefs. So interact with us on YouTube, on our videos, or post your own and tag us in it. And then finally, when we get more interaction, we'll then be able to pull someone from that and bless someone with a very amazing Pop-It. All right? So that's that. And I think that was it. I don't think I'm up to anything else. I'm up to a lot of things, but I think that was all I had to say.
Okay.
Shit.
Well, I had. Are you done? I had something that I wanted to bring up that's been going. I think it was just this week. The spell ban on Etsy has gotten a lot of people up in arms. Now, Etsy has changed its policies where you can no longer sell either a reading or a metaphysical item that says that it will inflict change, i.e. bring you love, help you lose weight, revenge, whatever. And people are like, oh, this is religious prosecution. No. Um, witchcraft is not a religion. It is a practice. So no, it is not a religious prosecution. And not only that, but it is a big crackdown on people that are selling. I've seen it myself. Rings that are cheap that you could buy for 50 cents in a in a gumball machine. They're charging you $100, and they're apparently going to make your breasts grow larger, or a bigger penis, or lose weight, or whatever it is. They're getting rid of scammers. Now, a good witch always has their clientele. Will always have the people that will come back for their readings and for their spell work. So I think it's actually a good thing that they've kind of cracked down on this, and it will help people find legitimate spellcrafters or help them learn how to do their shit for themselves, which is really what you should be doing. If you are a witch, that is what you should be doing.
Hiring us. Hello.
Or you can hire us, because I know at the moment Nimbus doesn't take or is not doing clients, but Michael, myself, and Scarlett are all doing that, and yeah, it's always an option. That's not why I brought it up. I do think it's ridiculous that people are getting like super pissed off that Etsy is violating their religious freedoms when it's not a religious thing at all, in my opinion.
Yeah. Let's get a little lower, people. Okay.
Ooh.
There. Hey. I agree. Like, I didn't understand at first. Oh, and I apologize for this stupid mess right here, because I'm in the process of moving shit around and it's taking me forever because I ain't got no time. But I agree. Like, it doesn't bother me. Like, people were getting all crazy about it, and it doesn't really bother me that they're doing this, because there is so much bullshit out there. If you all seen it, like, you know, it always brings us back to that post, that person in a forum that we used to be a part of, wife and I, and someone asking for a spell to shrink them, and they were like serious. They wanted to be shrunk, like small, like tiny, like they wanted a spell to. And I've seen spells, like I've seen people offer spells to shrink, like to shrink you. What? Like, really? So there's a lot of frauds, a lot of bullshit people, and it makes it look bad on us, the people who actually have what it takes, the people who have a passion for it, who are actually doing the work. Mm-hmm. So I really, at first I was irritated, but then the more I thought about it, I was like, you know, it doesn't really bother me because of that, because there's so many bullshitters out there, so many people who are fake that will say, I can promise you a bigger dick for $100.99. You just got to buy this from me, and boom, it's up there. And
what I've been doing is I had 2 clients this past couple weeks, and by doing the reading in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, this kind of spell could really benefit this person, and I'll suggest it. Hey, listen, I think this spell could benefit you. If you can't do it yourself, I can do it for you. Just let me know. And it leaves the option to them. It's not like strong-arming them into anything.
And, you know, I totally had something, and, like, it flew. It, like, it's gone. My gosh. I don't even remember what I was going to say. And I'm sorry, I look like a hot fucking mess right here because I was exercising, I did a HIIT workout, and, like, I'm all nasty. So, whatever, witchcraft isn't always pretty, okay?
No, it's not. I still have ginger on my floor because my vacuum didn't grab it. I found it before. I was looking for a pen. I'm like, there's ginger on my floor.
Every time you say that, I don't think of the root. I think of the people. Like, there's ginger on my floor. Like,
well, there's a ginger in a bed in a couple of rooms away.
Right.
I'm like, wow, she really had it with her son. Poor thing.
Yeah, he's sleeping. Thankfully.
As for the Etsy thing, I couldn't give a fuck less. Like, is that wrong? I feel like I maybe should, like, I remember getting a little upset about, was it, do you guys remember, was it the Ukraine that banned witchcraft? Or as a profession? Like, you couldn't charge, was it, I can't remember, it's one of like, European countries out in the fucking,
I don't pay
like,
attention.
middle of everywhere. And I remember getting a little offended by that because it was like these women and men that were that's what they did for their livelihood was they were spellcasters, they were readers, you know, and things like that. And I remember being bugged by that, but I mean, marijuana is illegal here, and they sell, like, you can't be a dealer of marijuana here, but people still make a living doing it. So, like, that, you know, that's another issue. But as far as, like, the Etsy marketplace, first of all, like, when it was created, I feel like witches kind of, like, jumped on the bandwagon, but then there's these assholes that aren't witches that are like, oh, these people are making money doing this. Let me sell a ring, tell you that it has a fairy princess trapped inside of it that's 1,000 years old, and it will bring love and light into your heart and your soul, and also it will help you have a lot of sex because this fairy was super horny when we trapped it inside this ring.
Meanwhile, if there actually was something trapped inside of it, it'd probably be really pissed off and make your life fucking miserable. So you really don't.
Probably, like, castrate you or something.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I don't want to trap a fucking fairy in a ring. Like, idiots. Like, so yeah, I agree. Like, I think the ban helps real witches better than it does. I don't know. Oppress them in some way. I just,
And, you know,
and I know this is bad because I'll eventually get there where I take on clients and things like that. But so says Michael anyway. I guess it just doesn't bug me because I don't do it. So it's hard for me to have an opinion on it because I don't take clients, and I don't know. It doesn't ban readers, does it? It's just specific.
Well, technically, it does ban all of that. Some people have been getting their shit removed too, but the loophole with that is if you add, like, a PDF file, that's an actual physical object, or, you know, that's like a digital item, you can do the reading through that. But I have people say that they've gotten their readings removed. And honestly, I think Sarah Ann Lawless posted a link about it, and her view on it was very similar to mine, so look her up. But she basically said, if you're a professional witch, if you're doing all of this, have your own website. There are other places other than Etsy to do your shit. You know, and then someone else, like one of her comments, the people who commented on her link, they said, yeah, they had Etsy before, blah, 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 but it makes you think that you're getting a lot of traffic from Etsy, but in the long run, at least for her business, she wasn't getting a lot of traffic. She was paying, you know, she was kind of, you lose out on money when you list things because you have to pay a percentage. Not a lot, but it adds up. But she found that with her own website, it was just more traffic there because it's very professional. It was to her website. She had control. It wasn't just like Etsy where people can look for other similar items and stuff like that. So don't even look at this as, like, persecution. Don't look at this as a negative thing. Use this to empower you to shift your mentality, to shift your experience, and create something better. You know, go to a different website, create your own, you know, shit, do a Facebook page, whatever. But find a way. And we're witches, so we always find a different way. We're survivors, and if you're not a survivor, then you're just gonna die.
Yeah, I agree, and I guess it annoys me because people are so fast to get on the oppressed bandwagon. Like, you are oppressing my rights. You were doing this. You were, like, shut up. If you want to bitch, fucking find another reason to bitch. Don't, I mean, like, stop saying that you've been persecuted and, you know, it's Salem all over again. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, if I have to hear another motherfucker, especially a fucking American or, like, UK or Canadian, open their fucking mouths and talk about oppression, I want to slap you, and everyone else around you wants to slap you too, because if you know any fucking thing about the world, there actually is oppression in the world, and you're a fucking idiot. If you think that you can't, cast on Etsy and that, your problems are super bad because you're a witch and everyone hates witches and, it's awful for you and you feel hurt and blah, blah, shut the fuck up. Like, I don't have time for you.
Oh, shoot. It just got real over here.
I mean, don't you agree? Like, people like to do that. People like to be the victim all the time. Witches are victims, people. Witches are not victims. We victimize. Okay?
And that is extremely true. And I don't know how this is going to sound. So, that is very true. And the only time a witch is a victim is when we are playing someone. We are not actually the victim. We're playing a part.
Exactly.
We're working and we are manipulating and we are creating a situation. So we are not the actual victim. We are playing that role to get what we want.
Right.
That's just the way it is. And before we can continue this discussion, but I just want to say the question and answer thingy is up. So if you all want to talk about anything at all, metaphysical related, then post it up here, okay, and we'll address it. Cheers, Nadia.
Yeah, I just popped it over so I can actually see the questions.
All right. Okay.
I do want to point out too, Etsy was created for stuff, to make stuff, for crafts, actually selling stuff. So there's lots of pagan jewelry out there and tools and different items and different things, and that's what it is for, and that's what it should be for. The only reason why I do have tarot readings up there and stuff is because everybody else is doing it, so that's where I put mine. But I do plan on, hopefully very soon, actually, I do have an Angel Fire site, which I'm probably going to completely get rid of that and actually do more of a paid thing, more like how Scarlett's site is, and do be a little bit more professional, I guess. So, yeah, it's for selling stuff, actual stuff.
An idea. I do have lots of ideas. So, yeah, it is. I thought that was common sense. Etsy was for homemade shit, for stay-at-home moms who create, and that's not disrespecting it. I'm serious. My sister-in-law, she was a stay-at-home mom taking care of her kids, creating a side business for now. So I thought Etsy really was for people who were doing stuff like that, creating and wanting to sell physical items. And I think when eBay got rid of their spells and all that shit, I think a lot of people went from eBay to Etsy. So y'all know that you went from eBay to Etsy. You can go to Etsy to your professional websites or something. All right? No excuses, people. No time for them. Okay. Next.
Well, I mentioned tools as a segue.
Segue. I was like, Michael's gonna jump on that shit.
All right, people. I think this was a couple weeks ago, maybe longer, but there is this group that I'm a part of, it's a really good group, and I really appreciate it because they are constantly adding new topics and trying to engage people, and I just wish more people who actually have value would contribute, because the topics are pretty awesome. One of the topics, I can't remember exactly how it was laid out, but one of the topics was on tools. Are tools necessary in witchcraft? Or it was, I think theirs is paganism, because it's a pagan group. So are tools necessary in paganism, but we're witches, so we're going to talk about witchcraft. Are tools necessary to practice your craft? And a lot of people, when they were talking about it, I don't really think they understood the complexity of what a tool does. I don't think they really have that relationship with their tools. They just see it as an object that has no power. They see it as something that has no use. They just see it that like they're using it and it's for props.
I think the big thing is when you get started with Wicca, which most people, that's kind of where they start when they get into the witchcraft thing, if they're not taught by family members. Wicca has so many frigging tools and different ways and specific ways of doing things on the altar, and people feel like this is just a money-making scheme. A lot of the time, like, that's how I felt about it at first. I'm like, well, you know what, this is a bunch of bullshit. I don't really need this because this is just a way for somebody else to make money. And if you look at the prices of some things, some people do jack up the price to make money. So that is an option, and not an option, it happens. The thing of it is, too, is you may not necessarily connect with every different type of tool, or maybe you've not found the right tool for you. Like, I have an athame that came in a kit, and it's like this big, and I'm not impressed by it, and I don't use it. And, you know, it came with a little bit of selenite wand, which I don't use either. But then, you know, I bought a wand that somebody had crafted, and I used that. And to me, that is so much more special. But I'm kind of going off in a tangent right now about that. So, tools. I kind of have a mixed feeling about tools.
I love tools. They're so beautiful.
Because you should be able to do what you need. If you're in an emergency situation, you should be able to do what you need to do if you don't have anything. But tools are an extension, and they have their own spirit. They have their own energy.
Mm-hmm. And how do you feel about that, Mr. River?
I'm a tool fan, and it annoys me when people are like, you don't need tools. Tools are just props, and they go in your altar, and they're to get you in the mind frame, and blah. Shut up. Like, that's not true. Because if you, like, I get what you're saying, because you're exactly right, and I agree with you. If you don't have your tools around you, yes, you should be able to do what you got to do without them, because you're a fucking witch. Like, you know what I'm saying? But as far as, like, people, and I do think that it is marketed too much, because, like, personally for me, I'm not a wand person. I am a athame person, so, and normally you find, like, two kinds of people. You find people that, like, use wands, and then you find people that use athames when doing things. But it was a conversation that was in the group, I think, like, a year and a half ago, about tools, and I just like seeing everyone's athames and wands and things like that, because I find them really interesting, because everybody seems to have a different version of what their tool is, and I hope that everybody has a different relationship with their tool, and they don't look at their athame and think that it's a knife, and that's all it's for. I think I made a comment that I use my athame, or I have my athame with me at all times. When I am working magic, my athame is there. It may not be necessary for the spell, but it's there, because it is like an extension of my energy, and it's like this. I have a fucked up, weird relationship with my athame. Like, okay, I like, okay, this is going to sound weird. I don't want to go weird, because I feel like I always do.
You already went weird. Let's go.
You see, like, it has, like, smut on it, because I will use, oh god, I don't want to go here. I feel like I could go here with YouTube, but I don't want to go here live. But I will heat up my athame for certain, like, over a candle or over a flame in my cauldron or whatever, and use the point to actually cause pain to myself, if that sounds weird, because there are times where that is necessary. Right. And I mean, if you don't know why that's necessary, you're probably not there yet. Or I don't draw blood with my athame, but I feed it with blood. Does that make sense? Because it's not sharp enough to like cut me, but I will feed it with blood.
Right.
So there's a lot that's in this athame that, and it's a very basic, very I mean, it's nothing. It was probably mass manufactured. It's not something that was forged personally for me. It was a gift from my wife, one Yule, because I did not have one, and I really wanted one because that just happened. We formed a relationship. So yes, it was probably made in China by some sweatshop child, but like it is now it is my tool. It is my favorite thing to use when crafting magic, just because. And I'm very when I do spirit work, I use my athame a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's how I feel about it. I think they're extremely necessary, but I don't feel like if you don't have a connection with something, then you shouldn't use it because that's stupid. So
yeah, the question like, that question was like it was a hard one because it's like yes and no. You know, like tools aren't like this is not just a knife. It's not a knife at all. This is an extension of power. And the more that we use it, the more that we infuse it, the more that we have a relationship with it, the stronger it gets. It takes on everything has, I believe, and I teach that everything has a spirit. Everything does. So it has its own like personality and spirit. So the more that it gets worked, the more it adds to its experience, the more powerful it is. And then, like, when you start progressing in your craft, when you need to do something, your tool, your ally, may start sending you some psychic impulses, and so you might get some information like, okay, we got to do this, and like, why aren't you listening to me? And you go to it, and then you're like, okay, I need to do something about this. I can work with this. And I think a lot of people do not understand that it's not just an object. Like, the more we work with something, we give it power, it has experience, and so it becomes not just an extension of us, but an extension of deity, like an extension of the spirits that we work with. It becomes like it's a huge extension of power. So it really bugs me when people treat tools like they are nothing. When they talk like that, I immediately understand that they have no idea what they're talking about. They don't really comprehend what these tools do for us. And in the same breath, when you're a witch, you can practice without tools, but dude, why are you laughing?
Because the people that don't use tools and believe that they can do everything themselves are the ones that ask for love and light when their neighbor looks at them weird. Okay, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. That's why I was laughing.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. But yes, we work with, when we do things ourselves, I need to turn my phone off, shit. When we do things ourselves, we're not doing it by ourselves. We are calling on energies, we are bringing down energies, we are working with spirits, we are working with deities, we are working with other things, and so that's not doing it by yourself. Those forces that you work with can, in essence, be called tools. You shouldn't call them tools because they'll probably fuck you up, but you know what I mean? It's kind of like the same concept, but instead of it being like a physical object that you work with, it's like a spiritual. It's like on a different level.
Oh.
So I think people, if they are able to comprehend that, they can merge that and understand that a physical object is just a spiritual manifestation in this world. So that tool that we work with physically is at a lower vibration I'm getting all new agey here, but it's at a lower vibration, so it manifests in the physical realm, but it is tied in the spiritual, and it has a spiritual vibration. But in order for us to work with it, it has to manifest here, which means that it has to slow its energy down for us to work with it. So it is still spiritual.
So are you saying that a tool that is here, actually I have something right in front of me I can show an example of. Are you saying that a tool can be used to summon, no, I don't really like that word, can be used to contact a spirit or a deity, like be like a beacon to be like, hey, listen, I'm over here, I need some help, this is what I'm doing. Are you talking about in that aspect?
Not necessarily, but you can. Like, a tool can do that. I'm just saying, like, I view everything, like, as energy. And in order for all of us to be here, we have to be vibrating at a lower energy, like, to be in the physical realm. Because there's many different realms. We have the spiritual, blah, blah, blah. So in order for us to be present, we have to kind of slow our energy down in order to be solid. And that's the same thing with tools. They still have, like us, we have spiritual bodies. Tools are no different. They have a spiritual representation. And so it's not just a tool because it has a spirit. It has this spiritual representation. Even though it was created, mass created, it all still came from a spiritual source. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But you can definitely, since everything is spirit, you can definitely work with a tool to attract like spirits or like deities. So anything that you have, like when you're working with a tool and you start getting to know it, it might be bitchy. So you might want to connect with Hecate. You might want to. Something might feel very aggressive in a like war or warrior way. You might want to connect with a spirit like that through that tool. So you can definitely do that. People do not utilize tools enough because they don't really understand them. And I don't work with tools. I'm talking so much, but I don't really work with a lot of tools. But I have them present because I use and work with their energy in my work, in my practice.
And I consider, like, the same, I tend to see the same people that say, well, tools are just, they're not really necessary to your practice and things like that. I also find those are, like, the ones that are addicted to, like, tarot cards and oracle cards, and I find that those are tools, too, because essentially,
right.
And this is coming from somebody who doesn't use, I have like 2 decks. I have 2 decks. I had 3, but I gave one away because I hated it. But it was a zombie tarot, and it was really weird. Anyway, it didn't have a good energy. But we didn't mesh well. But I have the Gilded Tarot, and I do tend to like it, and I really like the artwork. And I don't connect with it well, and I don't find that it has an increased amount of energy that does anything for me. I channel, and all readers channel, but there are those that use the cards as a focal point, and I use corn as my focal point, so it's essentially the same thing, but it's very different. I don't get messages from a card. I may get messages from the random feel of an unorganized bunch of corn kernels. Don't ask me. I'm a freak.
Well, it kind
of but it's those people that are like, oh, tarot is my life. Oracle cards are amazing, and I'm like, but you just said that tools aren't necessary. But could you channel and could you read without those tarot cards? And that's the essential difference. Some people, the same people that find it not necessary, don't understand that tarot is a tool to use. It is not. You're not getting messages from those fucking cards, is what I'm trying to say. You're getting messages from your deity, your spirit, your higher self. That's what you're getting messages from. The cards are used as a focal point and a tool. So, yes, tools are very necessary in a lot of ways, right, physically and spiritually.
See, the thing with tarot cards, especially if you have multiple decks like Michael and I do, is before I do a reading, I take into account the question and the energy of the cards, and I mean by the artwork and everything else, maybe not the actual like physical energy. So if it's a question that really needs to go really deep, I will go into the Deviant Moon Tarot or the Ludi Lescott Tarot, something that's
Love that
really,
tag.
really dark. And if it's a lighter question, maybe actually my go-to is the Gilded Tarot. That one I can read with for everybody. My experience is all tarot decks are a little bit different, even if they're all based on the Rider-Waite. They're all a little bit different, but it's the image that pops out in your mind that is the message that's coming from wherever it's coming from, wherever you believe it's coming from. So the Three of Swords in the Ludi Lescott deck is horrifying to me. The Three of Swords is one of my favorite cards, but the Three of Swords in each deck that I have is almost completely different, and it's the imagery that's going to speak out to you. So in the Ludi Lescott deck, there's 3 dead babies, so that speaks to the mother in me,
Right.
and so I'm going to get a message from that that's a little bit different than the message with the sword, with the heart with 3 swords in it. So if I can make that a little bit clearer and shorter. The images are different, and they're going to speak to you differently depending on what deck that you use. So the tool is important because those images are going to kind of pop out at you. But
Right.
that is also coming from whatever it is that you're channeling or is guiding you.
Right, because like this imagery, this is a sex magic tarot. This imagery
That's
is
hot.
not the same. It is. It is not the same as this. You
And
know,
that's the Ten of Cups? Are they both the Ten of
Nine
Cups?
of Cups and Knight of Swords. But yeah, so like I mean, really.
Right, and then like I have this fairy deck in front of me that's a little bit, you know, I don't even know what
Fairy
card that
deck.
is. I have this one. What is it? The
And so your
Victorian?
spirits, like when you're working with the client, your spirits are going to be like, okay, this is like what you said, like this is what you're going to need for this type of work. And all decks have different personalities, they have different energies, different ways of answering things. The tool is necessary to connect with that type of energy.
Right.
That energy comes from spirit.
See, now it depends. See, I don't know the way that you do things, Nimbus, with the corn. So maybe you have a better of the hearing and the knowing, and it's easier for you to channel that way. And other people may need a visual. I'm a very visual person, so I like the visual. I like tarot cards. I like the art of it.
I like corn.
The cards to me, I love tarot. Like I love the concept of tarot, and I do understand that every deck is different. Every deck is different to the situation, and I totally respect that aspect of it. And I think that it is filled with so much history, and it's so beautiful, and every deck is so. I would have 5 million decks if I could afford it, but only because I absolutely love looking at them.
Right.
When it comes to the corn, and you're right, I'm claircognizant.
Mhm.
I'm claircognizant, excuse me. And I feel like all witches, to a certain extent, are claircognizant. Some just rely on it more. I know Michael relies on it constantly. I rely on it very, very much so, because it is my direct contact to spirit. Like, that's how it manifests for me. I'm not a medium, so I cannot, and again, I know that's controversial too, but like, I do not consider myself a medium. My wife is a medium, but she's not a witch. So you can learn mediumship, but I believe, and I could be wrong, and I probably am, to a medium, but I feel like it manifests differently to everyone. And for me, I don't physically see spirits. I can, and I have, and I will in a lot of cases with spirits that I'm used to, but it may not come to me like, bam. When I contact deity, I don't see deity. I hear deity, I feel deity, and like it's not physically in front of me. It's mental, it's psychic, it's there. So the corn is a focal point for me to touch and feel. It links me to the physical, while my brain and my mind and my spirit is not present in the physical.
You
So
know what?
it lets me exist on both planes at the same time. So if I'm reading for one of you, I have the corn in my hand, so I don't go off on some weird fucking crazy ass shit. It anchors me here.
So it keeps you grounded.
That is so funny that you say that, because that's one of the things I mentioned in my training video today for my students, and if my students are watching, they're going to be laughing. But I was talking to them about grounding, and and we can talk about this too, so many people have a misunderstanding and a wrong perception of what grounding does, because I've come in contact with so many practitioners, mediums, psychics, who do not ground, who will not ground because they think that it limits them and they can travel farther. And I'm like, well, that's just bullshit. That to me is dangerous.
Right.
It's not safe at all, and it's not a good ethical practice, because what grounding does, it does not prevent you from going anywhere. What grounding does is it roots you in the present moment. It builds a solid foundation, so when you do travel, when you do go elsewhere, you have that solid foundation to return to. You have something like solid keeping you safe, so while you're out getting information, you can feed it back. And if you don't ground, if you don't have that solid foundation, something else can step in. You leave yourself open for possession, and among other things.
Right. I can use a pop culture reference if anybody watches.
My
If
favorite.
anybody watches Teen Wolf.
I do.
I don't remember which season it was, so I'm rewatching all of them right now before it starts again. I think it's in season 3, the first part of season 3, when they go into the tubs of ice, before they go into the tubs of ice where they have to like literally die, you know, the veterinarian dude says, you know, you need an anchor, you need something in your mind to bring you back. And when these guys go into that that space where they're doing the traveling, and they have the whole scene is like an amazing scene where they keep like running into each other and you're missing each other.
Right.
They need an anchor to bring them back and to bring them out of the traveling back into their own bodies. So that is like a pop culture reference to make it more if you don't understand what we're talking about. But that is an amazing thing. It's like you need that, and in that case, it was a person. But grounding is awesome and important. I like using crystals to ground.
Yeah,
it helps me.
And people, like, I don't really feel like they understand. At least the people I've talked to, they don't really comprehend like the grounding aspect, but as well the centering. They think that centering. When I ask people what's centering, they're like, well, it's grounding. You just ground and center. I'm like, no. Centering is different. Centering is an add-on. Like when you ground, you have that solid foundation. But when you center yourself, you call all those energies, like you align yourself. You bring it at center. So you have to ground, get that solid foundation, but also be very centered. You bring it all into you, or however you do it, but you bring it all in alignment. So you are like a very strong link when you need to do what you have to do. And people think that they don't really understand what centering is. They just think it goes with grounding. Like you ground and you're centered. Mm-hmm. I'm like, no.
Well, I mean, grounding in itself, I like this topic. I love when we randomly talk about shit and then other shit comes up. That's so fun. But grounding, for me, growing up, it was really essential. Not so much in my practice, but in my literally everyday life. When you have so much excess energy that it causes you physically to go fucking haywire bonkers. I'm not like ADHD or anything, but I have anxiety, and anxiety it's a very interesting it has a spirit of its own, because essentially your body is creating it, but it's almost like an outside force attacking you, and it's excess energy that your body has that it's not using and it's not essential to you. So when I grew up, I learned I began meditation and things like that way before I actually got nitty gritty into like spell work and things like that. That came in my later years. But when you have energy that is going fucking crazy, when you ground it, it becomes something that you can use, and it becomes something that you can use and manifest it to your own use. When it's there and it's in a central location and it's not going crazy, and I have like a technique where it's like mentally, like I put it all below me and I use it when I need it to come out. So it comes out in a very fine, very useful way instead of coming and flowing through me so much that it overwhelms me and I can't handle it. And that has so much to do when you're grounding, spiritually grounding for the essential reason of not going outside of yourself and letting yourself be a gateway to harbor other things, and not just bad ones either. I don't know why it's got a really negative connotation that like a demon is going to jump inside your body. No, a regular, just everyday spirit can fucking jump in your body because it wants to live. Not because it's necessarily evil. It just wants to be where we are. Not all of them do, but some of them do. So it's not just about the bad ones, it's about the good ones too. And for me, the focal point, and I actually was using, the first time I ever flew with an ointment that wasn't, it was mandrake ointment, I'll say that. And the first time I ever flew, I could not get anywhere without having some physical contact with the ground. And it was like, once I made physical contact, I was literally using that as a focal point to anchor me here, but to also connect with the spirit of place. The spirit of place almost acted as if it was a gatekeeper to where I wanted to go. And it was like I was here, but I was there, and I knew simultaneously that I was in both places. So that's why I like it. It makes me feel comfortable. It doesn't make me feel like I'm vulnerable to anything, and it makes me feel like I am in control of a situation that can go haywire and really out of control really, really fast.
Well, that's just smart witchcraft. You know, that honestly it's not, but it should be common sense witchery. It really should. And I really I really liked that you said that once you ground energy, you can use it, and a lot of people don't. They think once something's grounded, it's there, it's done. It's like, no, once you ground something, once you ground that energy, you can actually, because sometimes, like, I will put the energy into the center of the earth to transform it, to ground it out, but it doesn't have to stay there. I'm still working the energy. So I can then pick that energy back up, pull it through me, and utilize that energy for something. And I don't want to give too much away because no, but when I was talking in my training, I taught or express that you can ground situations or cars. So like if you see a wreck, you ground it so it's not as crazy, not as traumatizing. So the nice witch in me would ground that situation just so that these people don't freak out as intensely. The smart witch in me will take that energy and use it for myself.
I do a lot of grounding at work. I work with a lot of machinery and people, and it's an empathy thing. picking up on shit makes me really anxious. And when I get anxious, I feel sick. And I feel really out of sorts, and maybe I'll get a little dizzy, or maybe my stomach will be in knots. And with my job, I have to be in a room for hours at a time, and I'm able to leave, but it's not recommended. And it's also a sterile environment, so I can't be anxious and jittery and walk around and stuff. I have to be still and calm. And I do find myself grounding a lot at work because the people that I work with and the machinery too throws me out of whack really easily because people always bring their problems to work. So I pick up on a lot of that, and I do. Even with surrounded in that machinery, you can do the grounding. You just have to imagine it going into the earth. That's how I ground. I know a lot of people ground by tossing an extra shit into the universe, which I'm not comfortable with. I use the earth. I don't use space. So.
Oh, sometimes I do, but I still ground it out. Like, sometimes I'll throw stuff up, like you said, and I will blow it up, and then it goes into all these tiny little particles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun because it's like fireworks. Like you blow it up, and it's like, oh, look at it down. And then when it hit, I see it hitting the ground and like still going to.
Right.
That is interesting.
Yeah, because there's pretty much two ways to do it, depending on what you're more comfortable with. Is either sending it to the earth or sending it to outer space. And I'm more comfortable with sending it to earth because I'm just more connected to the earth than I am space. And I don't want the aliens, using that energy for something weird.
Bastards don't need any help.
It's not when you send it to space, you're sending it to deity, you're sending it to the creator, you're sending it to that type of energy so it can be transformed. Kind of like the same concept of when you send it to the earth. Some people just connect a little differently to that way, but yeah, I don't know where I'm going. Someone Rachel said, she was reading the book today about taking back your energy. Thank you so much for this.
Yeah,
I have done it before. This now goes hand in hand with my grounding. Taking back your energy, taking back your power is actually something I believe strongly about. It was something I was taught when I was younger, and I was at a pagan festival. It was re-emphasized at that time, and this lady was like a no bullshit woman. She was teaching this class, and she was like, you know what? Every day you go out, every day these mundane, not just mundane, but there's also magical, but these people, these influences, they take your energy. You're spreading yourself out like a whore, and you ain't getting paid for it. And she really did say that. She's like, you're not getting paid for that shit. You're spreading yourself so thin. And so people get irritable. They just feel lethargic. They feel disempowered. And one of the things that she said was every day, or whenever you feel, like you're not yourself, just stand firmly, stand strong, and command, like I command and demand that my energy return to me now. And be firm, be strong, and hit your hand, do something like make a loud noise. You can freaking scream, hallelujah, whatever. But call that shit back to you. Hey. But call it and demand, And that's another thing. Is like, which doesn't need to be more demanding. Stop being a pussy. Don't be like, oh, please come back to me. Shit's not going to come back to you if you ask like that. You need to take that shit back.
Right.
You command it, you demand it to be returned to you because it is yours.
Exactly.
And so all that shit comes back to you. It's within you. You pull it back to you. It's who you are.
And you have every right to it. It is yours. First, you get rid of the shit that's not yours, and then you get your shit back. Basically, is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up when it comes to cleansing, when I cleanse a person, I find whatever thieves. Yeah. When I cleanse a person, I will find. First of all, I do elemental cleansing a lot just because it was like the first thing I ever fucking did, and it's like the best thing I've ever done. I've tried other methods and other techniques, but really elemental cleansing is almost like my go-to, especially for people. Not so much for place, but and like an air, but for people. My wife is, and I've talked to Scarlett about it.
A comedian.
More, yeah, she's a medium, and she is not a very practiced medium. What
Michael said she's a comedian.
Oh, she's a comedian.
She's the comical medium.
She is a comical medium. I can tell because she gets fucking irritable really, really fast, and what's happening and what she doesn't like. She knows it, I think, but she doesn't like to own up to it a lot because she's like, oh, I'm showing my fucking weakness. And if you know Lindsay, she's kind of like, she uses, it's funny that you say that because she uses comedy as a means to shield herself from, that's her front a lot of times because she doesn't want you to think that she's being weak. So as a medium, she picks up on energy that I don't necessarily have to deal with as much. She will come in contact with spirits that need her for something or are bugging her about something. She picked up on one like 2 months ago that would just not leave her alone until she helped her. And it was kind of like she had blocked her out, she had shielded, she had done everything she was supposed to do. Every time her guard would go down, this spirit would flood her. Just, I mean, it wanted and it wasn't an insane task for Lindsay to do, but it asked Lindsay to do something that made her feel uncomfortable. Instead of listening to her spirits, she was refusing it because it made her out of her comfort zone, which you shouldn't do anyway. But during that time period, until she became okay with the concept of helping this person and getting that nitty-gritty that she didn't want to do, she was like, I was having to do cleansings every day. So I was pulling excess energy from her that wasn't hers and that wasn't anything that I helped create. It was spirit energy. And I was having to take it from her, put it into me, and then I had to get it out of me. Okay. When I cleanse, that's what I do. I pull from I find what the fuck is the problem. I pull from it. I take it into myself. I ground it, and if I can use it, I use it. If not, I get rid of it myself. So, because some shit I don't want to use. Like I don't want to use. Like some stuff is not okay, and it doesn't need to be there. And that's when I need to release it. And I like to release it into water. Because that just, for whatever reason, makes sense to me. I'll let water take it away because it is what is my cleansing element that just takes everything that I have and just takes it away with it. So that is interesting. So I just wanted to point out that I do not use everything that I take.
And I don't know if this fits in, but for those of you who want to try to use water, you don't have like a running stream or anything like that to pour into or the ocean, you can get a glass of water, pour it into that, and then get like a piece of paper and put like a positive affirmation on that. This is new agey, I know, but water is so easily influenced. You can do that or speak into it and charge that water to transmute that negative shit that's in the water into something positive, and then go pour it out on something that needs to be nurtured by water.
And that's taking something negative and making it into a positive because you're helping the life grow.
I am all about love and light. You know, my friend. I am love and light, solid.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Until you find the crystal penises that are behind him.
Also, fucking take a shower.
Right.
Fucking take a shower and let that water take it and watch it go down the drain. If it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, people just take these things so for granted that they do every day, and instead of making it like this really mundane task, you can use it to your benefit. And it's a little MacGyver, but I mean,
And also, if you can't take a shower, if you're at work or something or wherever, wash your hands.
Yeah, pour all the energy into your hands, like you said, wash them.
Yeah, wash your hands and wash it all out. I mean, I'm a water person. I'm a Cancer. I'm a water sign. Water has always been it. I take a bath, and I like to do my cleansing baths is generally just salt in my water. I like using salt if I'm doing a very basic one. And I will sit in the tub as the water drains out and physically feel everything that needs to be pulled out being pulled out. And salt is also a detoxifier too, I believe. So it's actually going to pull out the impurities in your skin and everything else anyway. So.
yeah.
I also I will get like a gallon of distilled water. I will put like a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon, more so like a half teaspoon of pink Himalayan salt into it. And then on the outer, I will write my intent for that water. Like, if I want cleansing, I'll write that. And then I'll just drink it. Like, I'll consume it, and I'll let that it flushes you out. And then when you're pissing, you're expelling it too. So, hey, it's all good.
I want to go to the piss. I wasn't going to say pissing, but, like, I was thinking over here. I was like,
It's Michael.
the shit that I really do, but I'm not going to say it on air. But, like,
I never thought of doing it that way. I mean, the detoxing is usually from the inside out. My stuff is always, I want to get rid of it right now, so I can't wait for it to process through my body.
Right, but sometimes, like, in doing it that way, too, like, in taking it internally, you're shifting your body as well, like, your spiritual energy, because you just, like, oh my god, I totally lost my word. It's not bewitched, but you bewitched your water, you charged it with a positive intent, you take it in, so it removes, like, all this other stuff, and then boom, it's gone.
And that's another thing too I just thought of is if you're somewhere where you can't do what Michael just said and have a whole gallon of distilled water and put salt in it, you can take a water bottle and just charge your water bottle, or you can write on the water bottle. A lot of people put crystals in their water and charge it that way. You could do it that way too.
Well, yeah, you don't have to drink the whole damn gallon, like, in one sitting.
Well,
but
no, I'm just saying in general. If you're feeling like shit, go to the gas station and buy a bottle of water and charge it up and drink it.
Yeah, get some salt, like, boom.
Yeah, get a salt packet.
Get it, Witchcraft, I don't care.
Get a salt packet.
well, so I use well water a lot because it comes from the earth, and I dig it.
You have a well water?
Yeah. I do. Right where I live, it's not annexed by the town, so we don't have to have, like, county water, so I have a well.
You have an actual...
And it was... No. It's like, it's modern. It's modernized. Like, it's got a pump and shit
well,
to it.
some people do.
It's connected to my house. But, you know what's a fun little fact? A water witch actually found where to dig. So that's interesting. We still have those here.
Oh.
And we have an entire family in my town that, like, the eldest of each line, for some reason is that's their gift. They can find water, and they're, like, the sweetest little old black men, and they'll come out to your house,
Aww.
and they will fucking find your where you need to dig. And
That's
it's amazing.
awesome.
I have done it for so many people in this town. Everybody knows them.
That's awesome.
Okay, so we're on a little time frame, so I kind of want to, you all stay here, but we should kind of wrap this up so we're not here till 3 a.m. because someone's got to do yoga in the morning.
Amen.
But if there's anything else y'all want to express before we kind of say peace out, mofos, express it. Wow, so, like, commanding.
It was. Take back your fucking power.
Yeah, right. Step into this.
Blythe, do you have anything to say?
Buy some tools and get to know them and work with them. and figure it out. I'm gonna buy an Athame. I gotta find one I actually like. I can never find one that I actually like. That is like my goal, at least till the end of the year, to find one that I actually like and to start using it. As get to know your tools.
Maybe you're too picky. Maybe we should go in and buy you one, and then you'll feel
birthday
obligated to try to get set up.
Her birthday is soon. Just saying.
Yeah.
Oh, but yes, and
then
if you
you're not because then you don't have to like choose. Like I didn't choose. I hated picking out Athames and wands. That's why I don't have a wand, because I'm not gonna.
Okay, my wand, real quick. I bought it from somebody that I know, and one side of it has a key, a little key charm, and one side of it has a lock. And I'm like, holy shit, that's Hecate right there with the lock and the key. If you want something to open up, you use the key, and if you want to block something up, you use the lock. That's why I love my wand, because it goes both ways for that. I love that.
Love it when it goes both ways.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what I have to say. I don't have to say anything, I guess.
I would say, and if you have tools right now, how we express them, start working with them that way, start building a deeper relationship with them, and then, like, make a video about it and tag us so you can win the damn poppet.
That's a good... We should start doing video challenges.
We
Oh my god. Okay, so that's the challenge. I want everybody to either... if you don't work with a tool, pick a tool and start to work with it and do a video about it. Or if you have a favorite tool, talk about it and how you work with it and how you found it. And
your favorite witching tool, please. You know, some people.
Yes.
Not one of those.
See, not that kind of wand. Okay.
Not
Hitachi. I could write a book about magic using those things. That's our next project.
Yeah. Oh God.
Sex magic, deviant witch style.
We would be awesome at it. We were talking about that last week. Okay. Anyways, yeah. So video challenge, and this
masturbation.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Don't do it with your magical wand though, because it can be dirty.
But you can anoint your magical wand with your fluids.
Yes. Much like I anoint my Athame with blood.
Yeah.
Paint.
Yeah.
Because apparently tonight I'm going to sound like a big old weird S&M freak with my Athame.
That's okay. Ain't no one judging, and if they're judging, they're not worth our time.
That's true.
I gotta say.
Oh, and don't get pissy if you're not in the running because you got on a video and said, I agree with everything that Michael said, and expect that to be some version of, like, connecting with us. No. Blythe's really pretty does not count. Even though she's got lipstick.
Absolutely. You are so...
We're going to be flattered if you say that, but that doesn't mean you're going to win anything.
No, and we appreciate those comments, but what we're looking for is engagement, so we need to know that you actually took the information and you understood it, or you have something to ask, but we need more engagement. So don't just comment to try and win, because we'll be able to tell those comments from the actual entries, and those comments are not going to be put into winning that poppet because we are trying to interact.
If you compliment Nimbus's hair, you might get a couple brownie points.
Absolutely. I love it. We love it.
You totally will. Because...
All right, y'all. We are going to say goodnight. And
I'm
until next time, peace out.
Bye, guys.